All right, folks, out of the New York Post, it says Disney CEO Bob Iger plans to step down before contract expires at the end of the year. This was by Thomas Barabee, and it came out on the 30th of January, so this was preempting, let's say. The preempting says Disney CEO Bob Iger has reportedly told allies that he plans to step down from his post before his contract expires at the end of the year. The Mouse House's board of directors, chaired by ex-Morgan Stanley CEO James Gorman, is planning to meet next week and vote on who will replace Iger. Now that's this week. Now, why would they be moving so quickly? Bob Iger has a contract till the end of the year. Why would he be rushed out the door? Well, as we look at the stock at the time of recording, Disney is down almost 42% in the last 5 years. And the time that Disney was high was under a different CEO, Bob Chapek, who was kicked out essentially by Bob Iger, broken talk sometimes, by Bob Iger and his cronies. Now, out of that Park Plus by Marvin Montanaro, Disney CEO search nears end as the board, we are finding out now, is aligning around Josh D'Amaro. So we had talked about could be a co-CEO situation, could be Dana Walden. Nope, it's going to be Josh D'Amaro almost certainly. And that means if we know anything about Disney, it's likely to leak out this week that he's the CEO. Mm-hmm. The Walt Disney Company board is nearing a decision on the next Disney CEO, with theme parks chief Josh D'Amaro emerging as the apparent frontrunner to succeed Bob Iger, according to people familiar with the matter. D'Amaro, who's 54, could serve maybe 20 years as CEO if he's good at it, don't know. Currently serves as chairman of Disney's Experiences Division, aka the theme parks, but a lot more. If the board formally approves his appointment in the coming week, he will take the helm of one of the world's most recognizable entertainment brands. Now, this really matters because James Gorman was put in, and so was Hugh Johnston, following what Bob Iger did with Bob Chapek, and they're both Wall Street guys, and they're deciding this, they're running this. We've heard that Bob Iger wanted Dana Walden. We've heard that because Bob Iger's married to a lady named Willow Bay, and she's very politically active, and Dana Walden is very politically active. Dana Walden is besties with Kamala Harris. But it looks like Wall Street is saying Josh D'Amaro is going to be the one who goes in. The timing here, though, really matters because panel, and we'll start with Marvin, if they get Josh D'Amaro in this week, if he's announced that quickly, or if there's a leak, then he may be the guy who's in charge of the next shareholders meeting, which is once a year. Not only that, though, Marvin, they may be using the announcement of Bob Iger leaving and Josh D'Amaro replacing him as a way to stop the drop of the stock, which we're watching continue to suffer. This may be their buffer against that to say, hey, we're getting Bob out of here faster than you thought. That's in direct contrast to what Bob wants to present, Marv.
I mean, if you look at, what the stock has been doing just today since opening, it's already almost down 7%. It's at 6.75% right now. Negative. So, I mean, they're going to have to do something. And
look at that line, Marvin. Like that. You see that line? Marvin, look at that line on the right side. Look at that.
Yep. Like a stone. With something like Josh D'Amaro, Wall Street has made it clear that he is the one that they want. He is the one that has the pedigree that they find desirable right now, that they find to be less of a risk. Dana Walden does not. Dana Walden facilitated a bunch of big missteps for the company. The entertainment division, I don't think, has ever been in a worse position. So while she might be the choice of Bob Iger and woke Hollywood, Jimmy Kimmel has specifically said that he wants Dana Walden to be the Disney CEO. I think that would be disastrous for the stock. Now, it's also possible that we might still get the co-CEO alignment here of D'Amaro and Dana Walden. The rumor there being that D'Amaro would continue to oversee the parks, and I think he would have more control than Walden, and then Walden would have more control over entertainment. And then with Bob Iger serving in a supervisory role over both of them with his 5-year consultancy deal, that's basically just the Disney company as we have it currently right now, continuing on. So I really hope that's not the case.
Yeah. So, Jonas, this is not how Bob Iger presents himself in the latest earnings report. Iger did not come out and say, I've presided over a 42% drop in the stock. He didn't say that. What is Bob Iger's play here, Jonas, to try to save his legacy?
I think that he would like to blame everything wrong at the company. He would like to blame a few of those dips around, 2022, when he got reinstalled into the company officially. He would like to be known as the guy who fixed a few of the vocal complaints about the Walt Disney Company. Like, oh, Bob Chapek has said he's going to fire all these people. Guess what? Bob Iger came back and he fired more people than Bob Chapek was going to fire. So again, it's another thing where he would prefer that he lets let's Bob Chapek be the bullet sponge of all the anger here.
The bullet sponge.
Sorry for using the.
No, it's just I've never heard it put that way, and that's a funny way to say it, because it's like, yes, instead of the whipping boy, Bob Chapek, you will be the bullet sponge.
Well, looking at all of what occurred here, Bob Chapek made the mistake of being unpopular while Bob Iger was still that close to the CEO seat. So there's things like on the call, he talked about how he empowered the division heads to make sure that their business decisions were more profitable. Well, guess what? In Bob Iger's book, he literally said that he went to the division heads and had to convince them, we're going to remove the profit incentive from your division so that you'll make things for Disney Plus. So that was a Bob Iger move to say, we'll give you rewards even if we don't make any money off of this content. So he's trying to rewrite history to say that that was a Bob Chapek problem that he fixed. It was a Bob Chapek problem because he didn't get around to fixing Bob Iger's decision just yet in the maybe 10 and a half months that Bob Chapek was able to operate without direct Bob Iger intervention.
Now, the other thing to pay attention to, MJ, is that the Disney stock is down about 42% over the past 5 years. That is in sharp contrast to the S&P 500, which is up 78.77% over the past 5 years. And if we're looking at companies that really did well, NVIDIA is up 1,276%. But if Disney had just performed at market level, it would be up about 80%. Instead, Disney has dropped 42%. And MJ, I'm thinking investors are going to be really happy to see Josh tomorrow come in, even if the websites won't say it. I think everybody's pretty much done with Bob.
I think so too, and that could partly be the case why he's. The rumor has it that he's stepping down early. I don't know how true that is or not, but the performance speaks for itself. The numbers speak for themselves, and we just have to hope that John D'Amaro does his due diligence and brings the company back up to par the way it deserves to be. So,
Ron, what do you think on the chances of that?
Of Josh bringing back up the parks?
Well, Josh has not done a great job with the parks, but some people say that it's to blame on Bob Iger and that Josh doesn't have full control of this. I don't know. Some people say that Josh D'Amaro's strategy of giving power to the park operators, the people on the ground, you know, like Vail and that kind of thing, that's what is to blame. I don't know. What do you think about him now having control of the whole company?
I think he's the only one that those who are legacy Disney fans that are still big Disney fans trust to take the reins, honestly. And I think that's where a lot of that's coming from, like Parks fans. A lot of Parks fans who are still the pixie dusters and that they love Josh D'Amaro. He is nice. Like he's very much, as far as when he's in the parks, he's very much with the people, with the cast members. He's literally helped out. Like if he's in the parks, he's helped pick up trash and stuff. He has that kind of persona. And I think that, I don't know that Dana Walden is particularly tested as far as being in front of an audience. Bob Chapek was not at all good in front of an audience. And, you know, it's really, really interesting. We live in this world where it's so superficial, right? A lot of people's judgment of things is of how a job can get done is very superficial. It's very much about how somebody presents themselves on video. Bob Iger back in the day, you know, when he would come on stage in the 2010s and it looked like the company was going up, right? At the time he was buying everything. The time he bought Star Wars, time he bought Marvel and Pixar, and it looked like, oh, these are these great acquisitions for the company because everybody trusted Disney to take all of those IPs and lift them, which is not what has happened, right? It's totally not what has happened. And in the same time, the parks have gone downhill, but he looked good on stage. Bob Chapek didn't look good on stage, but after he took the reins at a horrible time, right? And so what weird timing to have to take the reins of the company. He did not have enough time in the job, in the role of CEO, for us to really see and test him as to where the company would have been if Bob had not stepped back in. So, you know, you're at a time when I personally think that it would be best to get somebody really good from outside the company, like the time that Eisner and Wells came in together. And I think that after the tragedy with Wells, Eisner was not the same and did not run the company as well. And then there was other things going on behind the scenes, people under Eisner that were actually doing a good job and then left, and that messed things up. We'll see what kind of a job Josh would do if he is the one in fact picked. But as far as Wall Street is concerned, as far as investors are concerned, I just think that at least on the surface, he looks like the best pick. I hope he would be. I hope he does the job well. But
he's the best of what we've got. But
yeah,
Vash, I'm not thrilled about how Josh D'Amaro has done. I don't know what your thoughts are on him. How do you think this is going to go with him running the company? It's an interesting theme park legacy that he leaves behind if he takes over as the CEO, which we believe he will.
Right. I mean, it is a very interesting theme park legacy. That's for sure. Yes, it's been profitable. It's been successful for the Walt Disney Company. It has been the only real consistent division within the company actually making money for the Walt Disney Company's various ventures and so forth. Definitely been funding their entertainment division, and has certainly been a boon when streaming has just simply not been profitable for them. The issue that I have really with this whole transition, though, is that we don't really know how Josh D'Amaro is actually going to perform in this role because, well, a lot of decisions have already been made before he's even got there. You see, this is the interesting thing about what James Gorman is doing, as related by the Wall Street Journal very, very recently. James Gorman has taken this tact where he's going to, dole out these, multi-year contracts for established talent throughout the Walt Disney Company in order to maintain stability, right? That way nobody leaves, nobody, gets hard feelings and so forth. The problem with that, though, is that now you're saddling this new CEO with a personnel makeup that he didn't actually make. Kathleen Kennedy, for example, that decision to replace her and who that actually was going to be should have been really Josh D'Amaro's decision because, well, it's going to reflect on Josh D'Amaro if that division can't actually turn around.
Well, hang on, Vash. Let me ask you about that. Do you believe, because I think I can see this both ways. Yes, maybe he would want to pick whoever's going to be in charge of Lucasfilm. Do you think, though, that maybe they made that decision to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy right before he takes over as CEO so that he avoids the slime of Kathleen Kennedy, and maybe this was a decision that was made so that he doesn't have to be the guy who comes in and immediately says, you're out, you're fired? I don't know.
It's very possible. I mean, I think you have a lot of things lining up for that decision. It's just that even though Kathleen Kennedy was going to step down, as we already knew, Josh D'Amaro really should have been the one to pick her replacement. And that's the thing. Dave Filoni is going to be the guy, along with somebody else at Lucasfilm, to handling the business end. And that really should have been a decision that Josh should have made. Now you have something where that performance is predicated on personnel that you didn't even pick if you're in the CEO spot. And that's the thing. Just imagine if Bob Iger, by the way, came right in back in 2022, right? Took over the reins from Bob Chapek. What if he wasn't able to fire Kareem Daniels immediately? Well, if he wasn't, DMed would have stayed around, and of course that would have been a different structure that Bob Iger would have been saddled with for many years. Josh D'Amaro is not being given the same luxury, and that's by design by James Gorman. Go ahead, Marvin.
Vash, I would agree with you about the Lucasfilm thing, but I think that was a decision that was made 6 months ago. Honestly, I think Bob Iger made that decision a long time ago. I think that has been, from what we've heard, that's a situation that has been, ongoing with her not being really at Lucasfilm anymore. So I think that this is just a thing we're just hearing about now. But normally I would 100% agree with you. It should be Josh D'Amaro's call. By the way, one thing Bob Iger did not mention on the earnings call, the Lucasfilm leadership change and how we should be so excited, looking forward.
I hadn't thought of that.
Was not even asked about it, actually. So investors don't necessarily seem to be too concerned with it. But again, no matter when the decision was made, the bulk of those decisions coming out of Lucasfilm will be a reflection on Josh D'Amaro's leadership. And again, he wasn't invited in that process. And that's just one of many positions that James Gorman has set on right here. And that's the thing, too. I mean, look, we can talk about, head coach, NFL, right? What if you weren't able to make your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator positions, all of that? What if all of the draft picks were set before you even were hired, and now you have to win a championship? That's where Josh D'Amaro now sets. But here's the thing, though, too. If just Josh D'Amaro is the guy, somebody's going to have to take his place. Do we think that's Jeff Valley?
Boy, I hope not.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
I mean, think about it. You have to think down the line here.
What did you just say?
Why?
Ouch!
Straight for the heart, man. No, please, no. I feel like Michael Scott with Toby coming back. Aye.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.